This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. So it's Diesel and Shawn Michaels in the main event taking on Davey Boy and Yokozuna. They're going to go 15 minutes and 42 seconds. So the story here is Owen Hart isn't going to show up to the pay-per-view. So because he's injured and can't compete, Davey Boy has a replacement. Gorilla Monsoon is going to order Jim Cornette to either send Yoko in alone or pick a new partner. And of course, we know what's coming. The dudes with attitudes get the win, but Owen does miraculously show up, but it doesn't matter. He's powerbombed by Diesel. The pin is counted 3 stars. So now Shawn Michaels is the Intercontinental Champion and a tag champ. Diesel is the world champ and a tag champ. Of course, we overturn it the next night because Owen wasn't the legal man. He had technically been replaced in the match. What'd you think of this creative and this brief moment where the two dudes with attitudes had all the gold?
Yeah, I thought it was stupid and it sucked.
Why didn't you like it?
I didn't. Why the fuck? It's an old Gary Hart finish where in the middle of a match, sometimes Gary would roll in the ring.
Yeah.
And the guy would pin Gary and they'd ring the bell. So the babyface went over without his guy getting beat.
Right.
That's what it was. It was the shits.
And you hate it.
I did hate it.
You just think it's a cheap way out?
I did not like it at all.
Who's creative would that have been, do you think?
It might have been Bill Watts's or something. I don't know.
So let's talk about the Observer. Just as the cameras faded to black, signifying the end of the In Your House pay-per-view show in Winnipeg, a disgusted Vince McMahon threw down his glasses and his headset and said the words "horrible" as he started to walk to the back with Jim Ross while a pull-apart brawl with Bret Hart and Diesel was still going on in the ring. Seconds later, as the brawl ended, Diesel, the person McMahon had planned to build his company around just 1 year earlier, was being booed out of the building. Yet another in a long line of failed experiments in the quest to find a new Hulk Hogan. So Meltzer would continue that it's pretty much unanimous that the crowd is not happy with Diesel in the main event here. And he's saying that this probably means Bret Hart is going to be used like Ric Flair and they just slide him in whenever the next failed experiment fizzles. What do you remember about Vince at the end of this show being upset, taking off the headset and the glasses, saying horrible, stomping around to the back? Any of that ring a bell?
So Meltzer was backstage and witnessed this and was reporting on him because that's what he does. He's a reporter, right?
So I guess I'm not asking you to debate what was written in the Observer.
Well, I'm asking where the information came from so that I can verify that information.
I'm asking, did it happen or not?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you remember?
It wasn't significant enough to me that I would have remembered that. So that's why I'm curious as to where he would have gotten that information from. He must have been right there, because he's so smart and has all this inside information.
Was Vince upset?
I honestly don't remember. I know I was.
Why were you upset?
I didn't like it. I didn't think that it did anybody any favors.
Why not?
I felt it was Gary Hart. Gary Hart was great as a booker, but Gary sometimes would put himself in positions where he had no way out sometimes with the talent with which he was involved, and would do that bullshit finish. And that's exactly what this was a bullshit finish.
So you're upset with the finish, and you're suggesting that perhaps Vince was upset with the finish. He's not necessarily upset with Diesel.
He may have been upset with Diesel. I think that overall, this was kind of one of those times where you're looking at things and your desired response is not coming for whatever reason, and you have a live fucking audience every single night that can give you feedback instantly, and if it's not the feedback that you're looking for most of the times, you can go look in the mirror and go, oh, okay, well shit, man, that sucked.
Take me through back to that night. Is this where you could pinpoint sort of the bloom is off the rose with Vince McMahon and Diesel in terms of Vince realizes, this isn't working. I've got to make a change.
I don't think you can pinpoint any one night. I think it's an accumulation of more than one night. It's a feeling. It's a trend. It's when those boos and or that lack of enthusiasm from the audience over time that you go, okay, well, shit, this isn't working. You can't just go off of one night's response. This may have been the one that put it over the edge. I don't know.
So we know it's coming though. We're going to book a Survivor Series match between Brett and Diesel. But first, we're going to talk about the next In Your House pay-per-view where he's taking on Davey Boy. And this is not another great match. Meltzer would write, Diesel retained the WWF title, beating Davey Boy in 1814. Virtually the entire match was Smith working on Diesel's left knee. Smith ended up posting Diesel outside the ring and slapped Hart at ringside. Hart jumped into the ring and went wild on Smith for a DQ on Diesel for outside interference. Diesel then attacked Hart for costing him the match to build up their singles match on November 19th, and the show went off the air with the pull apart brawl. So 1 star, another bad matchup. Not great. Tell me about the progression of the Diesel character here and what you guys were thinking creatively at the time.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily working. And it goes back to day one of, okay, here's Diesel and he's your champion. We want him to be this big baby face. So he's going to lead everybody in prayer. And then, let's sing, hi, ho, 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 green. No. It's a song. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you. Yeah. And he ceased being Diesel and became, well, it's Kevin Nash. Diesel is Kevin Nash. He was at the East Tennessee playing basketball. And oh, what a quarter he had one time where he scored 4 points. And, it's all of a sudden everything I loved about Diesel went away because he became Kevin Nash from East Tennessee University and a basketball player that got hurt. Everything that was cool about him went away because somebody felt, goddamn, you got to have credentials. You got to have credentials. You got to tell a real story about these times. He could have been 2.5-time All-American. Nobody gives a fuck about that shit. They thought Diesel was cool. He kicked people's asses. When he ceased to become Diesel, what the fuck, that, and then when you figure that out midterm, it's kind of like, the audience overall was enthralled and they were intrigued by Diesel. They weren't intrigued by Kevin Nash in this point in time.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. Do you really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com. Before we talk about that, I do want to mention that as soon as Sean wins the Rumble, it feels like business starts to uptick. Besides the pay-per-view in Fresno, or the live show in Fresno, did a sellout, 9,600 fans, $130,000. Stockton for Raw is a small arena, but it's still sold out, 2,904. And we also sold out San Jose for Superstars. White Plains did 3,000 tickets and a 3,400 seater. Baltimore did 5,900, which is like double for what they've been doing. And Madison Square Garden, again, remember the last time we were here, we did 7,400 tickets. Now we did 15,000. Is it that automatic just based on your top guy? Or is there more involved in that?
I think some of it is more involved in that, but yes, when there are great stories that people are more interested in, it's a build to WrestleMania, you're on the way, and there's a heavier interest in the product during those times. That's kind of what it has been programmed as in the last few years. So people know that, okay, hey man, it's WrestleMania time, got to see what the hell they're going to do. And business was good. It's sometimes seasonal in some of those markets. So people were ready for it.
I want to mention too, what a great line this is here. It's expected the March 17th show with Shawn and Diesel versus Brett and Undertaker may be the first non-pay-per-view sellout at Madison Square Garden in so many years, nobody can even remember the last time. So it feels like there is light at the end of the tunnel. And a lot of that is because they made the switch from perhaps it being all about Diesel to it's more about Brett and Sean. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification